Mexican-American Latino Lens live podcast. I'm Yasmin, a huge movie fan, and I'm joined with Dr. Ruiz, who's the author, dentist, director, and the founder of the Mexican-American Cultural Education Foundation, as well as Dr. Ruiz Productions. How are you doing today, Dr. Ruiz?
Yasmin, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Well, I'm very excited to be here today because we have a very, very, very brilliant group of filmmakers, and I mean prolific and with a mission, and it's exciting. I have to say, I mean, this is great, a great story that I cannot wait for it to be uncovered with all of us together. So we have Juan Javier Aguirre. I'm saying it with such a Mexican
How you doing,
accent.
doctor?
I'm doing really good. Hi, Juan Javier. Nice to see you. Director, writer, producer, high school teacher. My gosh,
I appreciate it, doctor.
definitely a multi-talented man and a good friend. And I'm excited for our audience to get to know you. But also, let me say hello to Vince Garcia from Phase 3 Productions. And Vince, I'm excited to hear your story and also learn a little bit more about Phase 3. I know you guys are doing really, really good stories and good stuff. And also, we're very excited to welcome the wonderful, beautiful actress Chris Dosal, and she's great. I mean, I love her in this film. I've seen it in other films, Lessons from My Mother, but we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to all of this. This is a wonderful group, and thank you so much for allowing us to introduce you to our audience. I mean, they deserve to know you, to know all the wonderful things that you're doing. So, Yasmin, tell us a little bit about why you like this film so much. Give us just a little taste of what we're about to learn.
Well, I think it's a very impactful film. I think especially with the social climate that we're in right now, I think it hits home to a lot of people in the United States. And I think it's just really powerful. I think it was really beautiful seeing like the mother-daughter dynamic within the story, and it was very heartfelt. I just think it was a very, very powerful film. And I think that type of story is something that we need to see more of in film because we don't see a lot of that.
Absolutely. And we're talking about Dreamer.
Yes.
Dreamer, which is a film that is written, directed, produced by J.J. Aguirre, Juan Javier Aguirre. Habo. I know you like to go by Habo, what? Right?
I do go by Habo. I do go by Habo.
Let's talk with you for a little bit, Juan Javier.
Absolutely.
I'm a fan. I've seen your work, and certainly this film is where I read the script and I fell in love with it, and your script won the production grant for the Mexican-American Cultural Foundation. my nonprofit, the Moctezuma Esparza, Jesus Trevino, and so many other great talented filmmakers are part of. And we founded it 6 years ago, and our mission was to bring light and life to beautiful stories just like yours. And when we read yours, we fell in love with it. So it's so excited to see that now this film is actually there, that we can see it. So first of all, Javier, let's first learn a little bit about you, my friend, as a filmmaker. I know you've been a filmmaker for a few years only, but you are a prolific filmmaker. So first of all, why did you decide to become a filmmaker? You're already a professor. You're a teacher, a school teacher. Why?
Well, thank you. Above everything, first of all, thank you for everything, and thank you for having me. But as far as the why into filmmaking, when I was younger, I kind of dabbed into filmmaking. We're talking back in 1999, 2000 in junior college, right? And I made a few projects, but I kind of set that aside when my daughter's mom and we got pregnant, and I didn't want to be the starving artist. You know, I kind of fell into a reality where I'm like, you know what, I need to provide for my family. You know, decades passed. You know, my daughter, she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes back when she was 14. She's 22 now. And when that occurred, I went to some kind of depression. And mind you, again, I wasn't really touching filmmaking again. I kind of forgot about it. Although there was always that passion for it, right? And my daughter, instead of kind of being the stone that she needed, and maybe I was, but behind closed doors, I was just crushed over her getting type 1 diabetes. And she noticed. She took note that it was taking a toll on me. And she, one day, we're talking about 2019, 2018. She looked at me and she's like, "Hey, Dad, I remember you used to tell me about how you used to like filmmaking, and you used to do that, and you showed me one of your short films when you were back in junior college." And she was telling me, like, "Dad, you should pick that up again." So just having her telling me that, she basically saw that
Wow.
I wasn't in a good moment. I wasn't
What a
I was
wonderful
in a hole.
daughter.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I think I have to attribute my filmmaking to my daughter. For her to, I revisited filmmaking because of my daughter, 100%. And
Wow.
I don't know if you've seen my Pop Up a Co logo. That's a picture of myself and my daughter. Well, that's a reinvention of that picture that we took when she was
Oh,
maybe 8 years old, 7 years old, and I turned into my personal logo for my.
oh, that's a
Um,
sweet story.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that's where it started again, and YouTube University. From there on, it was all about YouTube University, trying to teach myself as much as possible in every area that I possibly could. Um, yeah, I'm a master of none, I suppose, but I do work in a lot of areas as far as filmmaking goes. But I think it's a matter of being proficient enough to make a good product, and I hope that I brought that to Dreamer, and I think I
I,
have in other projects as well.
I agree. I agree. And this is a good lesson for all of our audience, who many of them are filmmakers, and many of them are just like Yasmin, big movie fans. And you know, talking about dreamers, I mean, it's all about the dream. If you're an example of how when you want to tell a story, it can happen early in life, it can happen middle life, it can happen late in life, like me.
Or myself.
And you're very, very young. You still have many, many years to contribute, and you're already doing it in such a powerful way. And it's a beautiful story that your daughter is your inspiration. I don't think you can have stronger inspiration, my friend. I mean, it would
Appreciate
be
it.
possible. Um,
Thank you, Doctor.
so how did you come out with? Well, actually, I'm really excited to know more about you. But you know what? I want to talk to Vince. I want to know a little bit about Vince, because I know he is your co-producer. I know he was also involved in the writing.
He is my
So
producer. He is 100% my producer.
I know.
I didn't touch the
Yeah.
product. He was the man.
Oh, he was good,
100%.
man. Okay, and he
Mhm.
also helped. He also got a little bit involved in the writing, correct?
Not on the
Not as
writing.
much. Okay. Okay. So
No, not on the
Vince, let's
writing, but
let's
100%
go.
producer.
Okay. Well, Vince, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. It's such a pleasure. I had an opportunity to meet you before. I know that with Three Face Productions, you're doing a lot of good things, and I want to know more about that. First of all, tell us a little bit. How do you get in the film industry? How long have you been in it? And then after that, we can talk about Three Face.
So, dude, where do I start? No, I mean, just like everyone else, everyone loves movies, and it just, the more you watch, the more you want to learn how to make them, and you sort of start getting involved and looking into like the behind the scenes stuff and all this other cool aspects of it. But I've recently, probably 2 years ago, I dove in deep into this with Phase 3. And we've just been going at it just nonstop. But yeah, like I pretty much have done almost every single position available, and I continue to do it just because that's the only way we're going to grow. And I want to help people, do the same thing, and help them bring out one of their dreams, of whether it be writing, telling their story. That's my goal.
Nice. Well, that's a very good goal, my friend. That's a very good goal. Now, tell me something. Three Phase is your production company, or you got involved in it?
I'm involved in it with Phase 3 Films. They're a group of guys and girls who local in San Bernardino decide one day, to basically make something, and they have not stopped making anything. Like
Phase 3. Phase 3.
Oh,
Wow.
Non-stop. Like these guys are
Phase
so.
3. Sorry.
You're fine. Phase 3. But these guys are all about it, and just like me, we've got the passion, just like Havo, just like you guys. We want to make our films, tell our stories, and help everyone else do the same thing.
Now, I have a question for you. Maybe I'm gonna throw a little curve, but what else do you do in life, Vince? I mean, you've been doing films for just a few years. What else have you done? What are you? All that life knowledge. What are you? What's behind it?
Honestly, it's just a matter of just learning, dude. Yeah, as much as I can, whether it be in my current work environment, or just going out and explore new things, talking to people all the time, because everyone has a story, and you learn from just talking. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree. We all, the reason why I ask is because we all bring different skills, and we all bring different, even if we haven't been in the film industry for our entire life, we have been doing business, we have been doing things that now all of a sudden we bring all of this into the table, and we give it a different perspective, depending on what we've done in the past. I know Yasmin is becoming, it's just pretty soon is going to be directing, films.
Awesome.
But she, no, I'm kidding. Well, maybe not. I mean, it's impressive what she does. She's really a marketing person, right?
Yes, I do marketing.
Yeah. So, but now I would like to talk for a little bit with that wonderful actress, Chris. I mean, your performance was spectacular. But first, before we talk about your performance, let's talk about you. Let's learn a little bit so the audience can learn more about this star. I know that you've done a bunch of films before, and I see that you're so good at it. So tell us a little bit about your story as an actress. How do you start? A little bit of your journey.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't start, doing theater as a kid. Unfortunately, I wish I would have. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I mean, I've always loved the arts, but coming from Latin parents who want the best, for their kids, they wanted me to follow a career, a traditional career, whether it be a lawyer, a doctor, something that would sustain my lifestyle. And originally, I went into business, and I hated it. I I hated all my classes. So I went undecided, and I took some electives. And one of those classes that I took was a theater class, and it just felt like home. So then I changed my major to theater and film. And then I got into theater, started doing plays. And then eventually I moved to LA and then started pursuing the film and TV industry. And then just continued taking classes. But of course, my family did come around eventually, but it was a little bit of a fight, but they're very supportive now. So, I'm very fortunate that I get to be here pursuing what I love.
That's such a great story. And it's such a true fact that Latinos, our parents, are a lot more conservative. I mean, Latinos were just very conservative. And of course, I know if my mom would say, oh, no, 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 I want you to be, a professional before you go into some type of art. And my first love was music. I literally wanted to be a singer and a rock star. Can you imagine? And of course, my mom said, "No, no, 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 no. You're gonna go to some type of university, to some type of education." And who knows what would have happened? Maybe I would have been, a rock star.
The Rolling Stones.
You never know, right? But I
Never know.
didn't. And
I think we should.
yes.
I think that we should probably play the trailer so that everyone that's watching can kind of understand like how wonderful this film is.
All right. Well, let's get into the subject. Let's watch. And by the way, I want to thank Brandon, our engineer, a sound and video engineer, who is preparing all the of the video files, and he's going to be playing the trailer for this beautiful, beautiful movie. And I think it will put things in context. So emotional. I have to say that every time I see this film, I can't hold, a couple of tears from falling down my cheek. So great job, Juan Javier. Spectacular, beautiful, beautiful story.
Thank you, Doctor.
Tell us what is the inspiration behind this film? Because it is so now. It is such a powerful story that reminds us that we have tremendous value, even if our background could be illegal. We came to this country in not the traditional way, but our value is huge, and you were able to show that by having this young girl who was anyway. You tell us the story, because I'm so excited about it. I'm already telling it. No, you tell us.
For starters, it was really prompted by MACEF, with you guys were in search for stories that would highlight, the positivity in our culture, or try to flip the narrative on stereotypes, within
Exactly.
Our culture. And so that's what prompted it. Now, as far as inspiration, really, I mean, we could say look at the times, right? But I mean, in reality, this has been going on forever, right? I mean, we could date back to the times of the braceros or even before then, right? But speaking of current times, I think I know that the political climate, is a certain way, and I wanted to highlight, um, through the prompt that you offered was that, I wanted to highlight the realities that a lot of immigrants come in here and they thrive and they contribute and they help build America. They help build and make America what it is. And I wanted to highlight that. I think that's an important message to get across. And not only that,
And you did.
also, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, really, a lot of that is also based on my own background as well. Um, I had to cross the border, not myself, my mom, but when my mom crossed, when she was younger, um, myself, when my sister, we were born here, and we had to go on our own little mission when we crossed, and it was tough, and we're talking about 40 years ago or so, a very long time ago, and so there's memories that I hold on to that peace part of what Dreamer is right now. And right now that you mentioned the actress, she's my niece. She's my cousin's daughter, my cousin Stephanie.
Really?
She's my little niece. This is the third project that she's done with Phase 3. And she's just amazing. She really is an uber talented young lady. But,
I can see. I can
yeah,
see that. We should have interviewed her too. Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's all rooted on.
Congrats, man! Congratulations for being able to create a story that is exactly what we need. It's exactly a story that reminds us of our human value and truthfully how much our community has built this country. I mean, not just contributed. Our community contributed, first of all, with half of the land of this country, and then with our culture that is everywhere you look in America, you see our culture. You see our culture is incredibly influential in everything that happens in this country, and our hard work has built it, and your story shows it. And it's in a very short story, you tell us so much. I also like more about it. I like that you remind us that in any culture there's good and bad, and that was a powerful part that but I don't want to jump too much because I know there's a lot of discussion to be had. I wanna know from Vince, what do you love? And maybe we're gonna get into a slight of a current news conversation. But Vince, what got you so excited about being part of this project?
What got me excited was the story. It's something that a lot of us can relate to. I've got relatives that went through it. My parents went through it when they first came over.
I think most Mexican Americans have a history. It's somebody in the family has crossed illegally. It's just we share 2,000 miles of border. We were here before America was here. So I mean, almost. I would almost take the word almost out. I think we all have somebody that has that story. So sorry, Vince. I just you're just so passionate about this.
But you're right. Like everyone has that story, and not everyone wants to talk about it for obvious reasons. But it's one of those stories that has to be told. And Havo wrote it, and I didn't honestly, when he asked me to produce, I didn't even read the story first. I said yes. Then I read the story, and I'm glad I said yes. But it's powerful, man. It's really powerful.
Thank you, buddy.
Your actors were great, every single one of them, Havo, and it was a pleasure, man. I really dug the story.
Oh, I can see the love. I can see the love there. Good job. It's nice to work with people that we like and that we trust, and that we have each other back. Congrats, man. That's very, very nice. Very, very nice. That's why I like to work with this young lady. Chris, I know you have a lot of offers. I mean, you're such a great actress and you've done so many great films. What made you say yes to this story?
I
Mhm.
loved the uplifting ending. You know, we see a lot of these, especially in Hollywood, these stereotypes that we are being like pushed down our throats, and it's the same narrative. It's the same like story that sort of goes nowhere. But you know, as you know, Mexicans, as people of like Latin America, we're more than that. So I love that, you know, this child did, you know, made something of herself. It was such a good story. It was uplifting, and it put us in a good light, in a true light, right? Because it's more than just the sad story. It's the, you know, the growth. It's the climb. And I mean, this country is made up of immigrants. It's not just us. Everybody here is an immigrant, unless you're Native American. We are all immigrants, yet it's just, you know, us or like other minorities that are, you know, selected. But regardless, I also saw the passion in Havel. He was so passionate about this story. So it's very important for me to work with somebody that truly believes in their story and believes in their work, because otherwise, you know, why are we doing this?
That's right. That's right. And you know, how do you guys know each other? How you do you guys do you know Javier before? Juan Javier before?
No,
Jabo?
he actually reached out to me. So a few years back, maybe a little bit more, I had been part of the this collaboration of filmmakers.
The CFC.
Yeah, the CFC. I had done it once, and then Havel found me through their like I don't know, through their info, and then he reached out, and then you know, we got to talking, and that's how it all came about.
Now tell me something. I mean, something that you brought out early in your, you know, when you were telling us that uh, the a lot of the stories that we see film in Hollywood, you know, where Latinos are involved, are not always very positive and very often very stereotypical. Have you find that your career as an actress, although you know you're so talented, have you find that that has gotten in the way, or you don't?
Definitely. It's something that it's very frustrating for me as an actor and as a storyteller, that, you know, Latinos are always either the cleaners, the drug dealers, the criminals. And I'm just so tired of hearing that same narrative. And unfortunately, like things are changing, but just not fast enough. And it's sad because, as you mentioned, there's a lot of us here. So the audience is there for these stories, to hear these good, uplifting stories, you know. And I feel like in film, unless it's a period piece or it's very specific, race shouldn't be a factor. I don't think that it should be like, oh, there's a maid role, so it automatically has to go to a Latin person, or, you know, it should just be irrelevant.
Very good point.
It should
Very
not
good
be
point.
a part of the equation. So it's definitely very frustrating. And, you know, I do some writing myself, and I'm getting into filmmaking as well. I've like shot a couple of short films. So I definitely incorporate that into my work as well. And I want to be a part of these projects that, you know, have the same vision that I have, you know, and that like want to create change in this world and in our industry.
Exactly. Very, very good. And that's why, you know, MACEF exists right there, the, you know, Mexican-American Cultural Education Foundation. That's what we were, that's what I founded it a few years ago. And then I call all my friends to join and help. And because I agree with you 100%. I mean, the change is happening, but extremely slowly. And if we don't help it, it might reverse itself. So especially with the situation that we're in right now. So we have to push, and all of you, I mean, you guys are doing exactly that, right? What you're doing, you're pushing things forward, and that's really, really important. So before Yasmin puts more order again into this conversation, Let's look at the first. Let's ask our wonderful engineer, Brand. I'm afraid now Yasmin is going to get upset with me. Let's go ahead and
Play
let's,
the first scene.
all right. Let's listen to Yasmin.
Little girl. Work it out here, fellas. Water. You're dehydrated. Drink. Tomate. Doing these rules, man. It's in the manual. I do it.
Si corren, el desierto se los va a chingar, ¿eh? No corran.
Juan Javier, what a great job you did in this scene. My gosh.
I appreciate it.
It says so much in just a couple of minutes. First of all, I want to ask you about the music. I mean, you're this dichotomy where you see something terrible happening, and then the music actually is saying it's gonna be okay. What was your decision making? I mean, this is great. I think it's amazing. But tell me a little bit about the music because it's such an important part of a film.
Well, I think as a filmmaker, because I do edit my films and I do the sound design as well. I choose my music, I do it all through Artlist, right? I subscribe to Artlist, so they have an endless amount of stuff. It was all about juxtaposition in that scene. I wanted to have that contrast, where we have kind of a dire situation and really wanted to contrast with something that is completely opposite to it. And I think that adds an element, kind of a layer on top of the visuals that obviously it's auditory, but knowing that it's a positive song, literally saying it's going to be all right. Maybe it does kind of like, foreshadow things. I don't know. But really, it was more about juxtaposing the situation. And I think it was a matter of making sure that as I was editing it and putting it together, I'm trying to put myself inside the audience's in the seat, right? Visualizing and hearing it and what's going to work. And it really was a matter of this was an area where I wanted to have that juxtaposition. Mm-hmm.
But good job.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
By the way, I want the audience to know, and of course, writers, composers, filmmakers, and film fans that Juan Javier is so multi-talented. I mean, you're not just the writer, you're not just the director, but you're the music supervisor. you also did the sound effects and the special effects, which are spectacular in this film. I don't want to give it away yet because we're gonna see that. But my gosh, you're a talented man. So congratulations with it. How do you learning all of these things and becoming good at it so quickly?
Again, YouTube University. It's just a matter of going into YouTube, spending the time and the willingness to learn and trying to
Investing
learn
the
every
time
part of
and
it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, again, a
trial and
lot
error.
of learning for our viewers. It's just it really takes passion and effort and work.
And a lot of time. Look, you see these eye bags, these bags on rise. Yeah, they're attributed to a lot of editing and post production.
Yeah, well, it was beautifully done, and we're gonna see more of that in just a little bit.
Just from the first scene, though, I do have a question because
Sure.
like what Dr. Ruiz was saying before, like you see in this scene of the good and the bad in the amongst the officers, but I also think you see like a lot of the mother-daughter dynamic because you see like the mother's so frightened and she's shaking, but she's still being strong for her daughter. And I wanted to ask, like, why did you want to focus on a mother-daughter dynamic opposed to like a father and a daughter and vice versa?
So really the mother-daughter dynamic came about from, like how I mentioned how Dreamer really, there are remnants of my own past in this film as well. And so, I mean, my only experience through having crossed into the United States was when my mom came across, right? And it was a very unique experience because my sister and I, we were born here, but we were told we had to deny our mom because otherwise they're going to know that she's our mom and she's an illegal immigrant. And it was a whole mess.
Wow. Yeah. But that's a lot. That's our story. A lot of us have been through that. But that's an amazing story, Juan Javier.
I appreciate it.
Please continue.
But really, it's rooted on my own memories as well, because that's the experience we had. It was with our mom, and I thought I really wanted to bring life to that character, particularly because it was through my mom that I experienced this as well. And so when I wrote this piece, that was a very special character to me.
Wow. Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Very, very beautiful.
Thank you.
Very
Appreciate
touching.
it. Thank you.
And very painful too when you see that relationship and what happens. But we don't want to spoil it because we want our audience to go see this film. And I know in a little bit, Yasmin is going to let us know where they can see it. But let's wait before we talk about that because we have more things to discuss. But
sure.
I think that it is right now the right time to look at the second clip that we want to share because the second clip is powerful, and we're gonna ask our engineer, sound video engineer Brandon, to please play that video so you get it.
Hey, there's my little lady. It's been 5 days. You said she can eat whatever she wants now, right?
Dad, I don't know. It's really up to Dr. Huerta.
Please, Doctor.
I did see that, didn't I?
Hey, all right. Well, one fried bologna and string cheese sandwich coming right up. Doc? Hey, Doc, you want one? I made a few.
Yeah, Doctor. Try my grandpa's sandwiches. They're the best in the world.
They really are.
Doc?
I had one. Many Many years ago.
Way to go, Chris.
Wow. Well, bravo to all of you. I mean, my gosh, Chris, your performance is spectacular. I
Absolutely.
mean, it definitely brought tears to my eyes. But audience, I want you to know that in addition to this beautiful story that Juan Javier directed so well, that man that you see at the end of the film, he is really very young. And Juan Javier was able to use digital design, which is incredibly complicated, to make him look like an old man flawlessly. I'm very impressed. I'm very, very impressed. As a filmmaker that I am, I'm very impressed with what you can do, Juan Javier. But getting back into the scene, I feel again, there's so much here. You know, I personally like the fact that you remind us in this scene that there's good and bad, and in this time, I have to say, you know, so it's easy to feel very hurt by America in general, because our community is being attacked in such an awful way, and we see so many people that just looking the other way and don't realize how it has never in the history of this country. Well, maybe going back to, you know, actually has happened before, but not in a long time that our community has been attacked in the way our community is being attacked. Sorry if I'm being a little political, but my God, I'm super upset about this. And I feel like it's easy for all of us to feel a little bit resentful. But right here, you remind us that the most Americans are good people, and if they had the power, I'm sure this wouldn't be happening. You know, and there's so many people that they're, you know, they're there with us as part of the community, and this story tells us that, right? How this officer, you know, help her, and how that act of kindness, that little sandwich, that little sandwich that he gave her. And probably he gave it to her instead of him eating it, right? And he probably didn't eat that during that trip. But it's such a powerful story. I'm very, very impressed. Why did you decide to do that, Juan Javier?
So number one is that I want to clarify before I go on and explain that, is that, you know, I mean, there's that trope of the white savior, you know, where, you know, that's not what this story is. At the end of the day, while Officer Malone did show that moment of empathy and really became that person that meant the most to Teresa, the young girl's character, for a moment in time when she was little after her mom died, you know, at the end of the day, it was Teresa after that incident, right?
Yep.
That made her future happen, right? She is a reason that she became a doctor. She is a reason that she became successful. It wasn't necessarily the kindness, you know, so the trope of white savior doesn't really fit in here. Really, I wanted to approach this as this gentleman. You know, I wanted to highlight that even though we had already shown an officer that fits into the stereotype that there are some bad officers out there, right? Law enforcement officers that might be bad. I wanted to share that not all of them are bad. You know, there are good officers out there. unfortunately they're highlighted by the negative, right? And so
Mhm.
a lot, the stereotype that they're all bad. And I wanted to highlight that no, at the end of the day, I'm of the mind that most of them, they want to come home to their families just as we do, right? And
Mhm.
so that would be the case with Officer Malone, which Nate
Mhm.
Huntley, he smashed. He just did extraordinary with portraying Officer Malone, young Officer Malone and older Officer Malone. And I just wanted to highlight that um, there's good in everything. I
I
just
think it's
didn't
very,
want it
very
to be.
important. I believe that sometimes our community, because of the abuses, sometimes we get very, very isolated, and we
Mm.
don't, our stories. And I can tell you this because I see hundreds and hundreds of stories every year, and I see that sometimes our stories are very, very introspective into our own community, and we don't expand to other communities, and I think that's unrealistic, and
Right.
it makes it more difficult for us to become part of the big film community. So congratulations to you, to be, first of all, for being able to tell a story in such a way, give it a fair perspective, and make it more universally attractive. And I'm interested to know, are you planning to make a feature out of this film? Because I would like that.
I think it would be better as a series.
A series.
Like you
Ooh,
could like delve into the characters way more than in a movie.
it's true. Give some more time. What are you thinking, Javier? Juan Javier.
Well, now that you're mentioning it, so for starters, I wanted to, number one is just share all the warmth that number one, you brought to me, as far as welcoming me,
It's a
and
pleasure.
then embracing this project. Also with Moctezuma Esparza, and particularly Maestro Jesus Treviño, who number one, he's been just championing me to make a feature. Okay, Jasmine. And I get where you're coming, because you're not the first one that suggested a possible series, right? Or maybe episodic, but I will be sending some notes on a feature for Dreamer, where our short, which currently is at 20 minutes, it would be the second act of a feature for Dreamer. However, the way it's developing, it's going to carry the same weight or the same beats as far as that second act. But our first act is, number one, you have to be realistic in the sense of, okay, we're not going to jeopardize the story because it's an important story to tell. But at the same time, if we want to make a feature, we also want eyeballs, right? We want eyeballs to see it. We want people to sit down and watch it, right? And so there's going to be the reality is that we have to, when I write it, and I'm already writing it, that I need to hit certain beats that will maintain people's attention. So it's going to play out a little bit more as a thriller, particularly in the first act and the third act, where basically everything comes around towards the end. But Dreamer really does come as the fundament in the second act.
I like it. I like
Mhm.
it. I like that idea. Well, um, first of all, thank you, friends, for tuning in. Thank you, Juan Javier, for making the time to share your story and your beautiful film with us. Thank you, Vince, very much for being part of it, and Chris, you're such a talent. I can't wait to see your next film, and I want all of you to know the MACEF is right now, we're open for new applications for production grants, and our master's class. So please submit.
Those are very valuable, Doctor. Very valuable. All those workshops that you guys held were just completely valuable and filled with information and insight that it's hard to get somewhere else. So thank you for that, really.
Yeah. Thank you, Juan Javier. We're committed to help our film community move to the next level. And Yasmin, can we tell our audience where they can see this beautiful film? And any closing comments?
Yes, well, Dreamer is currently on a festival run. We did highlight them on our Instagram and our Facebook at Dr. Ruiz Productions. So if you want to keep up with Juan and Vince and Chris, please go make sure to go follow them just to see all their work and all the wonderful things that they're doing for the Latino film community. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us on the Mexican-American Latino Lens live podcast, where we highlight the brilliance and resilience of the Latino filmmakers in our community. And just to make sure to follow Dr. Ruiz Productions on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, just to not miss any episodes. And as Dr. Ruiz said, we do have applications open for production grants and masterclass workshops, but you can find those on our MACEF website. And next week, we will be having the cast and crew of Fiat Lux 5000, which is another great film from the Latino film community. So we hope to see you there.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for having us